My desk setup has been evolving ever since I moved to Singapore 8 years ago. Honestly, I would love to have those wall-mounted pegboards and shelves that I see on Pinterest, but I'm renting, so drilling is not an option. Plus, my room is tiny, so this is what I got. Hi, I'm Winnie. I'm a friend developer in Singapore, and this is my second video on the channel. And today I'll be showing you my desk setup as I promised in my previous video. Sorry it took some time because I'm still learning talking to camera, editing, shooting, scripting, all those stuff. But it's finally here, so let's get into it. Before I dive into my current desk setup, I want to share a quick backstory of how my desk setup has been evolving over these past 8 years. Back in Polytechnic, my setup was just a MacBook and an iPad. Then in my year one of university in 2019, I got my first monitor and that felt like a huge upgrade at that time. Later on, I got an IKEA gaming desk with a shelf to store books, figurines and random stuff. But over time, my style changed and I slowly moved away from clutter and lean more into a minimalist setup. That's in 2024, I had a standing desk and I do a monitor setup. And just a few months ago, I upgraded to an Ultrawide Monitor. I've always wanted to buy the Ultrawide Monitor, but they are expensive, and now that I'm working, I can finally use my adult money to build a setup that I actually like. Okay, enough backstory, now let's get into the desk setup tour, starting with the desk itself. So for the desk, I'm using the Omnidesk Essentials. It is 120cm wide and 60cm deep. This is the entry level, so it doesn't have the preset height, so I need to manually adjust the height, which I do not mind at all. Actually, I wanted a bigger size, but my room is small and I also need to think of it being portable because I'm renting, so I need to move to different places at some point of time. Plus, it was the only site available in the entry range, so I just went with it. This is a standing desk pad. I don't really stand and walk, but it's really come to handy is when I play the Nintendo Switch Ring Fit Adventure. I can raise the desk to match my eye level and it makes those sessions way more comfortable. And for this price range, I can adjust the height. It's quite sturdy and doesn't wobble, so this is a good purchase for me. And next on the list is this LG 34-inch Ultrawide monitor. My favorite thing about this monitor is it delivers up to 90 watts of power over just one USB-C, which is a game changer for me because that means I only need one cable to my MacBook to charge, to connect webcam and keyboard dongles to connect everything. Before this, I was using a dual monitor setup. I also make a makeover video about it. I will link it in the description so that you can go and check it out if you are interested. My previous dual monitor setup, there were 3 cables plugged to my MacBook, 2 HDMI cable and 1 charging cable, and 1 more cable if I need to use a webcam. Now I only need 1. Also, one main reason I switched to an Ultrawide monitor is that this monitor gives the option to either use it at one big screen or split if I want to. One big screen is perfect when working in Figma or watching movies. Both dual monitor and Ultrawide monitor setup has pros and cons depending on the workflow. But currently for my workflow, Ultrawide monitor is a perfect match. But in the future, if my workflow change, and maybe I will go back to dual. But for now, I'm sticking with this Ultrawide monitor. Next, moving on to top of my monitor is a Quntis monitor light bulb. It comes with a remote control and I can adjust the brightness and color temperature. It also has the RGB lighting on the back. I can change the color and there are different modes, but can't really adjust the brightness of the RGB. And one thing to take note is that if you are using the monitor light bulb with the iPad for note taking or sketching, you will probably get some pretty annoying screen glare like this. My solution to that is I use a Moft adhesive stamp so that I can angle the iPad just enough to avoid the glare. But you don't necessarily need this exact stand. Basically anything that tilts the screen a bit will do the trick. And next on top of my monitor light bar, I've got a Logitech webcam. It's a simple 1080p camera, nothing fancy, but honestly that's more than enough for me. I barely even use it since I only work from home once a week. And most of my meetings happen at the office, so it's super rare that I actually need to turn this on. It does have a bit in shadow to cover the lens, which is nice for a bit of extra privacy if you are also paranoid like me. And there's also an indicator light that comes on when the camera is active, so you know when it's rolling. And the base has this sticky thing, I don't know what it's called, but it helps to grip onto the monitor light bar so it stays in place. And that's pretty much it, reliable and gets the job done and doesn't take up any space. And next powering up my whole desk setup is a MacBook Pro 2023 with the M2 Pro chip. I upgraded to a 32GB RAM with 512GB. I've also got a dBrand dark circuit skin which looks amazing. And underneath I'm using a Moft laptop stand, and I've actually been using Moft laptop stand since 2019 and over time they do wear out. So this is already my third one in 5 years. I also have one on my office laptop. This Moft laptop stand is useful especially in the meetings during the video call. It raises the screen closer to the eye level so that I'm not looking down and looks better on video. Next, the stand I'm using to put my MacBook and iPad is this vertical laptop stand. This is a luminous stand I got with $30 from Shopee, and it has 3 main slots so that I can put my personal laptop, my office laptop, iPad, and the non-adhesive Moft laptop stand. It's quite steady and functional and make my desk looks more organized. And next up, I've got a 13-inch iPad Pro with an Otterbox case. I use it for a bunch of things: watching movie, music, sketching, UI UX for work, and also for learning languages like German and Chinese. Next, this is a vegan leather desk mat. There's nothing really special about it. I got it from Shopee at like $10, and I don't think they even have a brand name. It is slightly slippery, but just nice that I can put it just below the shelf so that it doesn't move. And now moving on to my keyboard, this is Keychron Q1 Max. And right now I'm using with the HMX Violet Renius switches. It originally came with banana switches, but I like changing switches from time to time because I'm still exploring different switch types and trying to find a perfect combo of sound and feel that really resonate to me. This is Keychron's flagship keyboard, so as you expect, the sound and build quality are top tier. It does have an RGB lighting, but to be honest, I don't really use it. And of course, here is a quick sound test. Next, the mouse I'm using is my all-time favorite, Logitech MX Master 3, which I've been using for more than 4 years and still counting. I also have another one at the office, and what I love about this mouse is that it's ergonomic and it's really feel comfortable in the hand. The main reason I like this mouse is that I can scroll really fast, and the horizontal wheel is very useful. The scroll wheel, the horizontal wheel, and the 2 side buttons and all the extra buttons, they are all customizable. It can connect up to 3 devices, so I use one for my personal laptop and another one to my office laptop, and I can just change it with just one click. And now let's talk about this desk shelf itself. I bought it to put this item on top, and it also a place to store my keyboard underneath if I want to read books or journal. I also have this drawer which I got it for like $4 on Shopee to store the stationery. Though this is a desk riser, I don't put my monitor on it because my LG monitor can already adjust its height, and I like the feeling of it floating above the desk. And now let's talk about what's on this desk shelf. This is the Apple Watch charging setup. It's a simple silicone illegal stand that holds a MagSafe charger that comes with the Apple Watch. I can just put a watch on it and it will charge, and the design is very aesthetic. And next to the charger is a Marvel Tube mini digital clock. This is simply just for decor, and via Wi-Fi we can change the clock faces and also the backlight. There are 4 clock faces, and you can also use your own photo. The backlight RGB, and you can change the mode speed and brightness. For me, I like mono because I like everything still so that it's not very distracting. And the color also, you can change the screen. For the speaker, I'm using a Beats Pill speaker, and before this I was using my JBL Flip 3 for over 5 years, but the left side of the speaker got spoiled, so it was time to upgrade. Compared to Flip 3, I feel the Beats Pill has slightly less bass, but the sound is clearer, and since it's in the Apple ecosystem, it's super easy to pair with multiple devices. Functionally and aesthetically, it fits my desk setup perfectly. And next to my speaker, I've got a Nintendo Switch OLED. I cannot really play 3D games because I got motion sickness sadly, so I can only play 2D games, but I mainly bought it to play the Ring Fit Adventure. I played a lot when I first bought it, and it was a lot of fun, but after a few months I lost momentum, so now I'm trying to get back into it to be more addictive. And one small thing I added to my desk setup is this quote that I printed out. I don't actually remember where I got it from, but I really like it. It reminds me to keep going every day and keep learning, and we'll get it eventually. And finally, it's time to show my cable management. I use a cable tray and the cable ties to try to keep everything tidy. My cable used to be like this, as shared in my previous video, but now I managed to keep them all tidy and clean. It looks really good now. And that's my desk setup. Over the years, it changed a lot with my workflow. I've got a few upgrades in mind, maybe a monitor arm and a monitor light bar that have both RGB and warm light at the back. If you have suggestions for those two, let me know in the comments. I'm always excited to try new things when it comes to gadgets. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.